broadcast, doing dubbing.
First role in production.
Silence on set.
Silence on set. My name is Cheah. Some people in the industry call me JJ. I'm a location sound recordist as well as a sound designer under freelance. Experience-wise, credential-wise, I've done a couple of feature films. For 1 year, I focused mostly on short films and all that, and I've leaned to commercials these days.
I'm Adrian Yu. I'm a lecturer and an audio engineer, specializing in audio post-production for film. I've been working for about 6 years now in the industry. What I've seen is that the market has become more saturated in terms of personnel working and in terms of just in general projects. Has been a bit saturated, a bit too saturated, to a point where saturation is good. It's only when there's enough demand. The problem is money is not there in this industry right now. We're talking across the board in all audio industries. What you get is a lack of opportunity for people who actually do come on board and want to get into bigger projects or get their hands involved soon. I mean, as soon as they get out. What you see a lot of people doing is starting their own thing. It's fine, but also it causes a bit of disparity in terms of market share and in terms of actual rates. For example, it's hard to push the market when you get fresh grads and maybe people of not enough experience coming out into the industry, taking a lot of jobs that other bigger studios and more established people aren't willing to take. So because of that, in general, the market rate gets lower. So that I find that there is a problem in order to move forward. Because from the time I started until now, I don't see progress in the audio industry. There's jobs are still there, there's still commercial jobs, there's still everything, but rates have not increased. I think that's quite alarming, and that has to do with the talent pool being oversaturated and not enough money, not enough wealth to be spread around.
If I may intervene, cost has also cut by a lot, at least 40%.
Yeah, so producers are constantly trying every day to undercut personnel, such as himself and me. So we have been in this situation in our shoes where, we're having to negotiate on a per day basis, almost for every project, even with producers that we've worked with before. And they're constantly always trying to get cheaper rates, more equipment for cheaper rates, package rates. I find that's a problem moving forward. Like I said, I've not seen much. Things have stagnated for the last 4 or 5 years, I feel. I think the only way to move forward is for the entire industry to move as a whole, for us to all really agree on what market rate is and what is the lowest we can go, and to make producers and everyone above the line understand the current situation or not. It's a bit bleak at the moment.
What you learn in class is just 30%. 70% is real life, which I frankly agree, because the kind of modules we had were basically theories and all that. When you put it into the field, you learn how to swim, right? And try not to drown. But when it comes to education, I believe that what you learn from university is still important. But at the same time, you have to sink your feet in deeply and really learn on the job.
The standard of education and training here in Malaysia is actually, I would say, is on par with a few other countries that have a good standard. I think regionally as well, we are pretty well trained and we are pretty well educated in Malaysia compared to a lot of other countries. So I don't think the problem comes from education. The problem doesn't stem from education. The problem stems from opportunity. As I said, the market is oversaturated, so there won't be equal opportunity for everyone. As it is, we get graduates coming out being able to continue in the field, so they have to find their way elsewhere and stuff like that, which is not what you want to see, because when you come out as an audio engineer, grad, you would want to pursue in that field. Opportunities are not there because the money is not there, like I said before. But definitely, I don't think it reflects on our level of education or training, for that matter.
yes and no. Why? Is because when I was at 19, like when you're a student and you want to learn outside, you want to learn from experienced engineers. So aside being from the classroom, I used to attend AES meetings and things like that. I mean, it's good. You get to learn about studio. You get to learn more theory than you would at school. I mean, it's because maybe it's not because like the lecturer is not willing to give you enough. Maybe it's because they've not thought about it. So when you have different people in the industry itself, you have different experiences. So that's what I got intel from. You learn from here and there. And the thing about audio is that the field is very wide. It's not to say that, oh, I'm a sound guy. I only do sound. There's live sound engineers, studio engineers. There's location sound engineers like what I do for film and things like that. Where, in terms of organization, is that I think they really focus on studio and live sound at this point. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I feel actually we will benefit greatly from having a regulatory body or a body that regulates wage standards, minimum wage standards, working hours, and quality. I think these three things are very important. Each of it is intertwined, each of it affects the other. What we are missing, what is strong about countries like America, England, and perhaps Australia, is they do have a workers' union. And that applies to most labor or blue collar, white collar, blue collar workers. They have a union, and that keeps them strong in terms of their keeping their rights as workers. What we have here is abuse of rights, quite the contrary. Moving forward, we have attempted it here in Malaysia, in the film industry. We got together and we mutually agreed to support Profima. Profima was set out to be exactly that, to be a regulatory body where they would set the standards for minimum wage, maximum working hours, to a certain extent quality as well, quality of work. But it has not taken off, and it was well supported by the people in the industry, but I don't think it was viewed too seriously. So it was a disappointment there because a lot of us were hoping that would fall through, though it was a long shot. But that would definitely be the way to move forward. Because at the end of the day, wage and working hours will affect quality. Quality will affect your standard of life and your standard of work as well. We can all improve by taking care of the people who do the work in the first place. So definitely, union is what we need.
When it comes to location sound, I don't know which director actually said this. I think it was Steven Spielberg, right? That says that sound makes 50%. David Lynch, right? Sorry. Sound makes 50% of the whole production of the whole movie. So 50% video, 50% sound. So I highly agree, but in reality, if you go on the field with sound recordists and all that, let's say you're an assistant, you look at it for yourself. Sound tends to be the third priority. Video is always the first. And unfortunately, you know what's the second priority? Catering. I won't elaborate here, but I think people will understand where I'm coming from. So yeah, location recording is very niche. You have to know who you're going for, whether you're doing web. Some people, they focus on feature, but probably that's where the money is, if they know how to market themselves. So the way I look at it in terms of market for location sound, YouTube and web is the way to go.
I think it's probably the least important, as what JJ said, only because the awareness and appreciation is not there. Awareness comes from producers and studios, and they need to be aware that in order for us to achieve a higher standard, let's look towards American productions or Hollywood. Well, I guess in the words of David Lynch, sound being 50% is the best way to say it, how important it actually is. But over here, we have a lack of awareness. The audience, there's no appreciation for it by the audience and by producers. So because of that, it hasn't really kicked off. It's still quite niche. How can we improve it is first to actually, there's no awareness for the audience because they're so used to dubbing being the norm. it's an accepted norm. When something becomes an accepted norm, there's no need for change. Something is not broken, why fix it, right? So what must happen for us to achieve, we are always trying to aim to achieve better quality. Better quality in terms of sound would be to go away from dubbing and gravitate towards location sound, or having at least a big portion of the final product being recorded live on set, because that will just up the quality of any production. That one needs no explanation, of course. But first we have to educate our audience. They have to be able to appreciate it. How? We got to make it a norm here, from the people who actually make film, to have that in mind when they're gathering their team together, when they're thinking about who's going to be on camera, or when they're trying to delegate their budget. Have an equal portion of importance, delegated, or what's that? A good portion just for sound. So when we start showing importance towards sound in that way, it'll show in the quality. It'll show in more people get the opportunity to work on better material, better working standards, and our audience will grow to appreciate what better standards is. So I think until people who are key players in the industry start making a move towards change, towards the better for sound, invest more money into it, maybe put more thought process into it during the pre-production stage already, I think that's how we can move forward. It all must start from the key players in the industry.
With better location sound and with better dialogue and all that, you could save a lot of money on dubbing, and you could make your actors happy. They don't have to visit a studio as often to go dubbing, and dubbing is not easy. The term fix it in post is overly abused. It's it's like alcohol, okay? It's really like alcohol, and I tell you why. Whatever problems you have in whatever situation, who do you go to? Alcohol, right? This is how the term fix it in post is used. I wouldn't like to use the word fix it in post because, why create the power and fix it in the first place? I like to use the term, and there's a different meaning behind it. Enhance it in post. If you in audio, the main concern is always your source. When you have a good source, you can EQ to improve it further and to compress it to get better dynamics. Rather than noise gate, everything, fix it, everything. By the time you're done, how are you going to enhance it? That's a whole other headache. So forget fix it in post, enhance it in post, provided your source is good. Fix it in post is a very lazy term for producers saying, oh, you know what? Screw it, sound is not there. Fix it in post.
Yeah, I agree. It is a lazy term. It's and overly abused, like what JJ said. I think fix it in post doesn't need to have elaboration for it. A lot of people will agree that it's a negative term. Prevention is always better than cure. In a music track, if your tempo is off, you should have got a better drummer. That's, there will be so many analogies for it, but fix it in post, I don't see it being a positive thing. I don't think we need to worry about technology moving forward. Technology will move forward regardless. Things will be smaller, things will be more portable, things will be more advanced. Everything that has a computer chip or microprocessor has a potential to be better. On a personal level, I would like to see cameras that can somehow transmit its own wireless timecode to other devices that can receive wireless timecode. In that way, everyone can be in sync on set all the time, which will cure a lot of problems in post that I'm dealing with now. I think if every equipment can be jammed wirelessly from a clock, a single source clock, that will solve a lot of problems. What I would say, just to add on the fix it in post part, there are a lot of things that you cannot fix in post. In case people didn't know, a lot of things you can only try to cover it up in post. Fixing it in post, oftentimes very difficult.
Raise our rates.